Good evening to you all, and welcome to SC Securities YouTube channel and this week's weekly market presentation. So, we are meeting after a couple of weeks, and let me begin the presentation with the usual market outlook and the insights from the global and Sri Lankan context in terms of economic related news, and also the rest of the part of technical analysis will be carried out by Harin as usual. Let me move on with the stock market performance for this week first. So, stock market begin on a positive note during the week, whereas during Monday's trading session, SPI gained 19 points to close at 8,862.67, and S&P SL20 index also gained up by 2 points to close at 2,829.67. During the day, turnover level reported a value of 1.6 billion, whereas foreign purchases and sales remained low at 14 million and 21 million. So we see a positive sentiment in the market as with the improved buying behavior from the especially in terms of retail favorite segments. But however, this positivity was not remained or maintained throughout the week. Ahead of the holidays that are coming with the Christmas, the indices followed sort of a sluggish path. So during Tuesday's trading session, SPI declined by 31 points to close at 8,832.14, and S&P SL20 index also declined by around 10 points to close at 2,819.81. Turnover level further declined to 1.35 billion, whereas foreign purchases reported a value of 23 million over 7 million worth of foreign sales. And then again, during Wednesday's trading session, indices turn around and bounce back to positive territory. So during the day, SPI gained 38 points to close at 8,870.63, whereas S&P SL20 index also picked up by 21 points to close at 2,840.56. This was basically due to some retail favorite counters, including LIOC, and some counters in the diversified financial sector, including EXPO. So, EXPO's buying continued to persist during the day, and that actually rose foreign purchases to report a value of 1.67 billion over 97 million worth of foreign sales. And with that activity, turnover level even boosted up to report a value of 3.5 billion for the day, which was the highest turnover reported throughout the entire week. But however, as I said to you previously, with the holiday mood on as investors approach sideways with this holiday period that are approaching, so the market declined throughout the latter part of the week. So during Thursday's trading session, SPI declined by 57 points to close at 8,813.84, and S&P SR20 index also declined by 31 points to close at 2,809.72. And the turnover during the day reported a value of 2.27 billion, and foreign purchases even picked up to report a value of 609 million over 55 million worth of foreign sales. And during the last day for the week, during Friday's trading session, SPI further declined by 74 points to close at 8,739.50 for the week, and S&P SL20 index also declined by 14 points to close at 2,795.71. And however, with the improved foreign inflows from the EXPO counter, the foreign purchasers picked up to report a value of 1.06 billion over 23 million worth of foreign sales, and the total turnover for the day even picked up to report a value of 2.86 billion. And With this sluggish behavior throughout the week, SPI declined by 1.18% and S&P 20 index also posted a decline of 1.13% on weekly basis. But however, with the inflows specifically from the EXPO counter, with the aid of that counter, net foreign inflow was reported and that stands a value of 3.17 billion. Now let me move on with the treasury yields for this week. So in terms of all the three types, treasury yields have declined from the previous week value. So the 3-month yield is declined by 11 basis points to 32.80% over 32.91% from the previous week. And 6th month yield and 12-month yield also declined by 1 basis points each. A 6-month yield is now at 32.26% and 12-month yield is at 29.32%. So, if you look at the composition of the treasuries that are received by the central bank, under the 3-month category, 164,320 bids received, and the central bank accepted 83,611 out of it, which is 85% of the required funding as it was issued by the central bank. And if you look at the spot rate throughout the week, LKR in terms of USD remained more or less the same, but when it compared to other currencies, LKR in terms of GBP appreciated together with Japanese yen, but rupee seeks sort of a depreciation in terms of when we compared it with the euro. And now let me move on to the key economic highlights from the Sri Lankan front. So it was reported by the Census and Statistics Department that Sri Lankan economy had witnessed a contraction in the economic activity, resulting a contraction of 11.8% in GDP for the third quarter in 2022, and that was on the back of 8.4% negative growth in the second quarter during the year 2022. And it was further revealed that agricultural activities for the quarter declined by 8.4%, and industrial activities also declined by 21.2%, altogether with the services sector decline in 2.6%. And altogether, the GDP at current market prices increased to 6.4 trillion rupees over 4.4 trillion rupees year ago. That was basically administered by the increase in the current market prices. And if you look at the contribution from each of these sectors, agricultural sector contributed GDP with a percentage of 8.7%, and industrial sector contributed with 34.5%, and the services sector contributed by 54.1%. And it was also revealed by the Census and Statistics Department the official poverty line for the month ended October. So, as according to them, as according to the survey conducted, the poverty line has increased to rupees 13,810 over 13,772 from the previous month of September, which was a 38 rupee increase on month basis, and that was basically due to the increase in overall prices. So as of that, it is witnessed, it is represented that in order to survive a person, in order to survive in the country, that a person for 1 month to fulfill his basic need, that person requires a total sum of at least of a total sum of 13,772 rupees. And then again, it was also reported in terms of the development in the debt restructuring progress. So the third meeting between bilateral creditors and the Sri Lankan government held successfully, and much more productive efforts have been taken out at the meeting. And also the France altogether with the Paris Club, which was one bilateral lender for Sri Lanka, also making effective measures to start debt restructuring to assist Sri Lankan economic situation. And now let me move on with the global front. If you look at the commodity markets front, oil prices headed for a weekly gain, which is the biggest gain in 10 weeks, and that was aided by the supply disruption and the demand prospects from China. So last week it was reported that the TC Energy, which is from Canada, shuts the pipeline after figuring out a major leakage in Kansas. It says more than 14,000 barrels of crude spilled, which is one of the largest spills in the decade. So, with that, the investors are anticipating sort of a supply disruption from Canada, and altogether with that, the recovery of Chinese economic activities, and the investors are anticipating the demand for oil to go up. So with that, the oil prices went up for the week. But if you look at the rest of the commodities, gold, copper, and aluminium, that shows a weekly decline. Gold prices specifically decline on the back of the interest rate hike from a couple of major central banks, and that is the demand for gold. Sorry, as the is the demand for dollar, and that negatively impacted on overall gold prices. And the same scenario applied to global financial markets as well. The Federal Reserve and the European Central Bank, and also the England Bank of England, both all these three central banks has decided to increase their policy rates by 50 basis points each, and that negatively impacted on overall global markets. So they ended up with the weekly decline for the week. The Wall Street, altogether with the European markets and Asian markets, have witnessed major decline for the week after the decision of these central banks to increase the pace of rate hike, and the anticipation regarding the higher interest rate will persist for some long, which the investors think that the interest rate would ease in near term. So with these negative consequences, the world markets decline and headed for a weekly decline. Yeah, that's all from my end. Harin will continue the presentation from here onwards.
Thank you, Sachini. So looking at XAUUSD gold during this week, we are able to see that the price is trading in a rising wedge. So therefore, we have a rejection of the level of 20 moving average as well. So this could actually incline the price towards the daily resistance 1800, 1810. So once the key area of 1800, the psychological area breaks, will be having the next daily resistance at 1850, 1860. But since it is a rising wedge, a rejection from the key level of 1800 could definitely bring back the price towards the level of daily support 1750, 1760. At the same time, looking at the moving averages, 50 and 20 EMAs, 20 EMA is actually making the price basically a strong support level at the moment. So with that, the price seems to be moving towards the daily resistance 1800, acting as a strong support level. Therefore, we need to keep an eye as the price also made a rejection from the level of 20 EMA, and also we have a clear crossing at the level of somewhat around in second week of November. We were able to see that there was a crossing from both 50 and 20 EMAs as well. And looking at our topic of the week, the all share index. All share index made a rejection from the level of daily resistance 8,950, 9,000 being a psychological area again. This could basically bring the index towards the 20 and 50 EMA levels, and also towards the December 12th low, which is 8,614. Once it is tested, we'll be able to see whether it will make a bounce back towards the daily resistance 9,000, or else a breakout from the level of 8,614 could bring the index further towards the level of daily support 8,450, 8,500. As for now, we need to see during the next week what could happen, whether there would be a rejection from the level of 20 and 50 EMAs, and also 8,614, 816, 614. That key level needs to be quite monitored. And looking at our topic of the week, which is the ACL that we have. So ACL, during this week, we were able to see that the price started to trade once again below the daily resistance 79.5, 82.5. And today we were able to see it made a low of 74 and a high of 76, but managed to close at the level of 76. So that's the basically the intraday high uh, that the price managed to close. A breakout below the level of 74.7 could initially bring back the price towards the level of 64, 67. That would be the key levels that I would expect the price if it breaks the level of 74.7. Rejection from the level of 74.7 could bring the price back above to the level of daily resistance 79.5, 82.5, whereas the RSI is also at the level of 45.01, which is in the mid range. So we need to keep an eye over the level of this key level that I have mentioned, basically 87.5 and 74.7, as the price could actually consolidate and make certain retest towards the level of daily resistance as well. So this is the basically a clear outlook from my end, and I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please do like and subscribe to this video. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.